Hello everyone, how to get 1,000 gems in a game. Is it possible? Well, if not, the video would end right here. As you can see, I have 1,064 gems I grabbed from this game, and this is probably maybe my 5th or 6th time doing it. But if you're like me and you love going to your player profile and trying to increase the stats like this one here, gems held, you can see at 864, this is something I'm constantly trying to get a little bit better each time. So how do I do it, and what do I look for in the right situation to do it? Let's go over it now. So this is probably my highest one so far, and I'm actually a little disappointed how I played because I really feel like I could have gotten it higher if I wasn't trying to go and just demolish my enemies. But there's a couple of key things that I look for when going and trying to push for these gems, and that's going to be number one, the tree giants are a great way to go and cash up on these things. Another one too is the chest menace, and sometimes the mega mole is good, but that can be a little bit more difficult with the spikes popping up. I find that the tree giant is the best way. I find it easy to dodge, I can kind of control what I'm doing, and I can melt it pretty quick by picking the right army. The other thing I like to keep an eye open for is for when I see a gem mine, a super gem mine, and even the loot surge. Luckily for me, this one ended up being a tree giant with the super gem mine. Even though I didn't really focus too much on the gem mine, the tree giants are where it's at. So first thing I always like to do is grab a Colt, grab a bow, or grab a Shelly. Those are the 3 starting heroes I always tend to go for, and it was almost game over 15 seconds into it here. You saw me toss the cannon over just to kind of go and hit the enemies that aren't near me. If I throw the cannon out, I let the cannon kind of do its thing while I go and try to take care of everything else. But we got pretty close there. Luckily, this is just going to be me building up Colt because that's the first hero I get. Now, I know a lot of people will go grab that first hero and start making their way towards the center, but as you can see, I spent about a good 30 seconds just farming in my area, making sure that I was well set off to go venture into the rest of the world there and see what I could wreak for havoc. Luckily for me, you see the other hero right here, we're gonna drop them real quick and just get that free key of it to build up our Colt even more. This whole time, I'm just trying to complete fusions to keep the cost of the chest down. Ideally, I would like to have bow over Colt when doing this, just because it does more damage to the monsters, and it seems to really wind them down pretty quick. But the fact that I do have Colt, this makes it incredibly easy to shut down my opponents. Given that I have a pretty good start, you can just see here, I'm melting them, and they're not even standing a chance. I imagine that a couple of them are going to be bots on it. You can usually tell by the way that they run back and forth, which at least I think. I don't know players that play like that, but still, I'm trying to go for gems here. I don't care if I face bots or if I face real players. I really want to get that gem held stat racked up. And this was a bad day for El Primo right here, and I actually think this was a person. I don't think this was a bot because I don't think the bot would even go and try to run into me just like that. But still, I'm going to call it there. I did scramble a little bit with having all the enemies around me. We grabbed the Shelly. I know I was just saying bow, but Shelly's still a good way to go on this. Now I have the option to go Shelly or Colt here, and Colt just seems to be the better way to go on it just because he is going to be doing a lot better damage to these giant trees. However though, if I would have seen a tank right there pop up, I would have grabbed that. That's one of the things I really like to go when hitting these middle bosses. The tanks are incredibly strong. They are slow to hit, but man, when they do hit, they blast pretty hard. Now at the beginning, I actually said I was a little bit disappointed with how I play during this. Even though I am crushing everybody, I am trying to go after the enemies. I could have just simply farmed right in the middle and hit these trees. Now, big thing to keep in mind is it's common sense, we still have to say it though, but if you're seeing those red spots on the map, you gotta get out of the way. It's only gonna knock your heroes down, do damage to you, and it's not a situation you wanna be in. So the tree's gonna have the one where it stretches out straight at you, a circle around it, and then it shoots the vines in 5 different directions. So just keep that in mind. Even if it looks like you're not standing on the red, give yourself a little extra space so you're not taking that unnecessary hit. There is also the one that I forgot about, as you can see here, which is going to be a big giant spike that comes out of the ground. And that one, I took a pretty hard hit on it. So if I get the chance, I'm going to go and grab a medic just to kind of keep these guys alive. I don't really need more than one medic, especially in this situation I am, but a medic is probably the most OP healer in the game, in my opinion. Now, Penny and the Archer Queen are also going to be a couple of good picks when going up against these trees. I haven't really done a lot with using the Witch or even using Mortis there, ones that are going to create other enemies from monsters that you killed. I kind of just try to stick it to these ones right here. Shelly, Colt, Bo, the tank, Penny, and the Archer Queen. And that's going to be one of those things that if I am able to devour enemies like I am in this one, or devour other players, I'll stick with those. But if I do find that there is some other stronger heroes around, number one, the medic, but they'll also want to go and build some more of a tank kind of defender type class. So somebody like Nita or even El Primo, I find both of those are pretty handy to use in this situation. But my main goal, stack as much DPS as I can and try to melt these trees as fast as possible. I don't really use heavy that much because I am moving around so I don't get that third string of faster attacks. And for the Barbarian King, I would use it, but it's still at 2 stars for me. So I'm really trying to utilize what I have at 3 stars. If I could go back and do it again, I'd probably focus more on picking up these gems and focus more on farming them trees to see if I could get over that 1,000 without getting the bonus for taking first place. But I'm curious to know what your gem held number is in the player's stats. Let us know in the comments below. If you want to know what you should be doing when everybody has a mega inside the game, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.